welcome back. And we're at the end of this case. We only have to find the right person to talk about the last clue we found. Yeah, this one. Yeah, sure. Let's talk to... Why not Olivia? Let's see. I have a clue for you. This one. What do you think about it? What is this ridiculous flim-flam old Reese trying to kill me? It's just a theory. Yes, and one I'd gladly debunk right here and now. While Reese and I have our differences, we are not amateurs. Word travels fast in the world of theatre, and the moment I learned that Lawrence decided to let Reese go, I immediately reached out to them and offered to talk to Lawrence on their behalf. I have my pride, but I'm not blind to the merit of those I work with. Reese is an exceptionally talented individual, and Lawrence's decision was, in my eyes, the wrong one, not just in your eyes. Reese was as always professional and detached. They revealed they already had a job offers in waiting, and they had already decided to leave Lawrence's production. We buried the hatchet and vowed to part as colleagues, each wishing the other well. Anyone suggesting Reese is involved in all this will have me to answer to. I suggest you consider this line of reasoning to be a dead end, and move on to more plausible theories. Noted. Thanks, Olivia. You were the right person, so goodbye. Ahem. Hello, Hugo Mertens. How do I... Wait, I can just submit from here, right? Yeah. Wait, why can't I submit it? What do I have to do? What do I have to do? Ooh. Oh, do I have to submit it to her? Yeah, right. She was the one. But I'll talk to you about the defense. Oh, of course, it's nothing but bickering and infighting between these theater people. But now that such a strong theory finally presents itself, they're closing ranks. They respected each other, even if they didn't always show it. You're not trying to imply anything, are you? You're still on the bench. It was worth a shot. Okay, it was not you I have to get back to, it was... You, perhaps? Here it is. I think we'd best present our case before the police decide to submit one themselves. Let's hear your theory. Here's what I found. Who do you believe is responsible for the death of Stavros Stone? Stavros Stone. So Stavros himself is to blame. Well, I look forward to your explanation of this, bartender. It would certainly be quite a twist. Was the prop dagger switched? If so, how so? Stavros sabotaged the knife to kill Olivia. You suspect Stavros sabotaged the dagger to trick Olivia into taking her own life. But of course Olivia's careless use of a backup prop saved her own life and sealed Stavros' fate. He died by his own dagger. Now, why would Stavros want to murder Olivia Carmine? Lawrence revealed Olivia's role in Stavros' blacklisting. So when first casting Dalliance, Lawrence carelessly told Stavros that Olivia had been behind his blacklisting all along. Lawrence must have hoped that any messy history between them would be water under the bridge. He was wrong. Stavros still wanted revenge. Take a breath. Are you sure about this? Once I submit this report to Hugo to present to the Judica, things will be set in motion that cannot be undone. I am confident. Alright, you have my seal of approval. Now you should have a talk with Hugo. Let's put our best foot forward and hope we have made the right choice. Of course we did. Of course we did. We knew that from the beginning. Underneath the counter, you clutch the case files you prepared with Eleanor's help. As Hugo finally manages to lift his head, his eyes meet yours. Once he sits down at the bar, he absent-mindedly stares down at the wooden counter. Upon placing the documents in front of him, he finally seems to snap out of his trance. Huh? What's this supposed to be? Just have a look. Hugo dejection lifts a little as he thumbs through the file. For the first time in weeks, he seems to unclench his jaw and sit up straight. This is very helpful. I've not been fair with you, bartender. I'm not sure I deserve this help, or your generosity for that matter. It's okay, Hugo. Thank you. I was stubborn. I was foolish. I was truly arrogant in thinking I could handle this without your help. Now you have it. Just get this to the station, detective. I will, of course. I owe you a debt of gratitude, bartender, and I've been thinking as well. I know my own strength as a detective. I can analyze evidence, make deductions, dissect the minds of criminals. But people are a challenge. Talking to others is a skill I've never really possessed, or valued as much as I should have. A skill that people like you possess in spades. I see that now. Perhaps I dismissed you too hastily after our first case together. I have the power to deputize citizens to appoint someone as my partner. Perhaps I should exercise that power with you. With your permission, I'll take these findings to my superiors. From the looks of it, these notes are more promising than anything I've found so far. Let's hope something comes of this. Let's hope so indeed. Hugo gets up from his stool, tightly clutching the case file. He strides to the door with newfound vigor. With haste in his step, Hugo exits the bar. Good luck, detective. Let's see what the next case is about. Oh, I can still talk to the people, but I don't really have to. I'll end the day, and we'll see. Wait, there's something. Calendar. You can use the calendar to skip forward to the day of the deadline if you don't want to spend the remaining days serving drinks and socializing with your customers. Let's do that. I already talked to everything. Talked to everyone about everything. Just like last time, Detective Merton's body language and expressions are hard to read as he approaches the counter. Upon sitting down, however, you manage to get a better look. A sheepish smile and a little laugh. Not what you expect from Hugo. He places his hands on the counter and takes a breath. Then lets out a contented sigh. You can smile, detective? Stavros Stone planted a dagger, hoping that Olivia Carmine would fatally injure herself, but a series of unplanned events caused his plan to backfire, causing his own death. And you actually managed to find enough evidence to make a convincing case out of this bizarre turn of events. Of course I did. All I can say is this. Well done, bartender. I truly could not have made those deductions myself. Your mind is sharp and your insight has been invaluable. I could learn much from this case. And from you. It's not just your people skills I admire, bartender. It's your unique approach, your deductions, your determination. I'm used to working alone, but I would be a fool to deny I'm more effective with you at my side. I did all the work! It would be like you would have to work as my assistant, not the other way around. It would be my honor to have you as my partner if you'd consider it. Do I want to? Hugo smiles as he reaches out and shakes your hand. This whole debacle has taught me two things. I must work harder and continue to learn as an officer of the Bukovi Constabulary, and I hate the opera. Next case. Let's go. What is it about? Of course I solved it. Get out of my way. A few months later. Let's see. And someone's dead. Please not someone I know. What the heck? The Crucible. Okay. Offering by. A visibly frustrated Vincent Florida enters the bar and sits down with a grumble. In his anger, he slams down the newspaper he was carrying. The whole country has gone to the dogs, I tell you. Dead politicians in hotel rooms and burnt bodies at a steel mill. 2 bodies? The peaceful Zara of my youth continues to crumble day by day. This sort of thing never happened back then. How many more of these tragedies must occur before the government comes to its senses and closes the damn borders? Common sense must prevail. Mr. Florida, what happened? What has happened to my beautiful city? We are doomed to slide further into anarchy as cultures best kept separate are forced into a damn melting pot. The decency and manners of Tsaran culture are being diluted, washed away by a wave of crime, depravity and moral relativism. Relativism? Double murder. Vincent seems too dejected to engage in conversation. You decided to look at the paper instead. The headline jumps out at you. Double murder. Today, police released a statement regarding the discovery of 2 bodies in the capital city of Bukovi. The body of Pietro Lombardo, Bukovi's treasurer, was found in his room at the Hotel Jubilee, still referred to by locals as Rundown Heights. What? Red. Okay. After police received a tip from a member of staff, the maid, the autopsy confirms that Mr. Lombardo passed away around 11 p.m. on Friday night due to severe blood loss resulting from blunt force trauma. Early Monday morning, roughly 7 hours after the discovery of the body at the hotel, police received another call about a body found at the Bukovi steel mill. Oh no. An employee clocking in for the early shift discovered the burnt remains of an unidentified male in one of the furnaces and alerted the police. I know someone who works at the steel mill, right? Due to the severity of the burns, identification was no longer possible. Early investigations have turned up one suspect who is believed to be involved with both deaths. Police have already apprehended and interviewed the potential culprit. Oh no. I think I know who the suspect is. The 37-year-old Scotian immigrant and employee at the steel mill was seen speaking with Pietro Lombardo at a party at Hotel Jubilee on the night of the murder. The suspect has since left police custody after the bail was paid, though they are forbidden from leaving the city for the time being and must answer any and all summons by investigators. Is this about Björn? Of course! Terrifying, isn't it? How many more violent ruffians are clambering into our country while we are distracted by this threat of war? Björn is a nice man. Vincent. Clearly Scotia is filled with thuggish brutes that see it fit to solve their disputes with violence and bloodshed. Oh man. Or maybe it was his brother. This Björn is just one of thousands. Opportunists who would use our bleeding-hearted nature to take root here, bringing their ghoulish ways with them. Wow. I better not say this one. I can't believe we let such a man frequent our bar. When it comes to establishing a respectable customer base, we must redouble our efforts at vigilance. You seem convinced Björn is guilty. It's hard not to be when investigators have such damning evidence. Didn't you read that article? That's a sudden change of attitude regarding the police. Not every police officer is like Hugo. Some are competent and judicious. And lest we forget, Mertens is an immigrant too. Oh man, you're such an ass. Do you really think Björn is capable of murder? All the evidence points towards the fact. Look at the size of the man, his capacity for violence, and he hid it well under the gentle giant act. Björn fooled us all. I don't think so. The old mantra of innocent until proven guilty looks nice on paper, but in obvious cases like these, it's best to make an example of the culprit and just get it over with. Someone has to send a message that the good people of Tsara have had enough. Oh, I really hope Tsaran is a culprit. An example for who exactly? You've never seen his expression on Vincent's face. More like a snarl than a frown. He can barely keep himself in check. Something has been eating away at him, and now it's all coming out. Anyone who believes they have a right to come into my country and disregard the laws and custom of my land. Vincent's eyes meet yours, and for a long time the tension in the room remains high. Maintain eye contact, of course. You can see Vincent stifle an outburst, his eyes like thunder. He slowly exhales. Perhaps he realizes you are not the right target for his ire. His expression briefly softens before he breaks eye contact and wordlessly leaves the bar. End of conversation. Man, what a man. Oh no, Lucas. A visibly disturbed Lucas enters the speakeasy. He would trust Björn, right? Rather than sitting down at his usual spot, he immediately approaches the bar, his forehead covered in sweat and his eyes wide. Bartender, I need your help. Well, it's not me who needs it, it's Björn. You have to help him. He's innocent. Ah, thank God. Slow down, Lucas. Take it easy. How can I be calm when Björn is being treated like a murderer? No one is listening to me. Speaking slowly will help me understand the details. I hope you can put your skills to use and help him. I just don't know what else to do anymore. Would a drink help? No, not at the moment. Not when Björn's freedom is on the line. I've noticed you and Detective Mertens working together, you know. I know he trusts you. You've been working cases with him since I first came here. I've seen you help Alan and Ernest investigate, too. Sure enough, during both cases, Hugo figured out what was really happening. But I know better than to believe he did it all by himself. You're a smart man. All I ask is that you get Hugo to hear us out. Everything about this investigation is moving so fast. If you could just slow things down a bit, it would buy us more time to find the truth. We don't have any proof yet, but we just know there's something fishy going on. The media, the constabulary, they were all so quick to pin this all on Björn. They jumped on him right away. The evidence was thrown together, the arguments weak and hasty. They're rushing to a conclusion, the wrong one. I hope it was not Vincent who murdered, right? We have to prove them wrong. Exactly. He was with me the entire night at the party. How could he have murdered anyone? But the media and investigators refuse to listen to me. I'm glad you have opened up to my pleas. Björn is not a violent man. I'm glad you see that too. So please, I don't know what else to do, who else to turn to. I'll talk to Hugo and sort this out. You will? Oh, thank the goddess. I'll go see Björn right away and tell him the good news. I'd rather you not. How's he holding up? Ah, not great. I paid his bail, but when I opened his cell, he barely looked at me. I thought maybe he would be happy to see me, or relieved. He just seemed numb, beaten. He keeps telling me he will be ground down in the machine. I don't know what he means exactly, but he is morose, thoroughly gloomy. Your support is the only good news we have had. Maybe telling him you're on the case will help. For I think getting out and having a drink to settle his nerves would be beneficial too. Goodbye. See you soon. Alright, who's there at the corner? Ah, come on! Why so many people? Sandra Fischer. Sandra Fischer descends the staircase once more. You haven't seen her for a while, and she looks around the bar, then approaches you with a serene smile. Welcome back, Sandra. This place is buzzing. Every time I come here, I think maybe it will be quiet or gone, and you'll have moved on. I'm always glad to be wrong. The place smells nice too. Sandalwood or cinnamon. Most speakeasies just smell like spilled beer. This place smells like... well, it smells like someone cares what it smells like, if that makes sense. How have you been? Well, could be better. I'm sorry to hear that. Just make sure to keep up the good work. Don't let your mood affect the quality of your drinks. People often underestimate how their mood can affect their whole day. I trust you've noticed this when talking to your customers? Well... well, it depends. They can have their mood soured in the morning, then carry that with them the whole day. But in the evening, slipping them that favorite drink can turn their whole perspective around. Did you know the opposite can also be true? The opposite? People think denying their feelings and putting on a happy face will make their problems disappear. As a good bartender, you sometimes need to break through that facade to get them to open up. You have to make people want to rant a little to get it off the chest. Consider me interested. How do I go about that then? Back when I was standing a bar, I might have occasionally filled my shaker with a few wrong ingredients to ruin the flavor on purpose. The bad drink shook them up out of their reverie, often opening the door for deeper insight. Helping them to spill their guts brought them relief. Being a good bartender is about more than pouring drinks, you know? It's about listening too. The information was sometimes useful, sometimes just interesting, but sharing always made them feel better. What did you do with this information? I improved the drink they received next time to ensure it was unforgettable. Flavors perfectly tailored to their tastes that would just not be possible without them opening up to me about their life. That's interesting. Hey, we all have to experience bad days sometimes, or the good days will lose all meaning. Part of being alive is to be able to experience all feelings, good and bad. You've given this a lot of thought. I have a lot of time to think, though I must say it's a lot more fun being able to share these musings with a fellow bartender. On the topic of thoughts, have you heard the recent news about a double murder? It's been on my mind. It's hard to avoid. Strange case, don't you think? 2 murders in 2 completely different places. Yet the investigators have pinned them both on a single man. And you know Björn, right? As do I. A little bit. So it must be difficult for you too. Is he really a criminal or just a man wrongfully accused? Do you think the constabulary is onto something, or do you believe he is innocent? Well, I don't know all the details, but I can't really imagine that Björn would kill someone. But we don't know Björn that well. Well, I don't know all the details. Naturally, it's up to the police force to carefully feed the public the correct information. I'm sure justice will prevail in the end, but I do hope they're giving him a fair shake. He seemed friendly to me. Have you ever considered the idea you might be serving drinks to a criminal? One of my first customers was a loan shark debt collector. I had the pleasure of serving Wendy Brooker, actually. If Björn really has killed Peru, then I suppose I have. Aren't we all criminals when we enter Speakeasy? I had the pleasure of serving Wendy Brooker. Ah, the murderer of the Dragos girl a few months ago. Interesting to know she frequented this place. Never forget your job as a bartender. Serving customers drinks and providing an ear to the troubles should be your primary concern. Stick to tending bar. I try. No then. Looks like I can't delay the inevitable any longer. Oh, a drink? I have to leave Bukovi again for work. Headed to a different country, actually. And my destination requires the use of these new flight machines. I could really use some liquor courage before I go, if you catch my drift. What's your poison? I could go for something simple. Maybe with a nice dark rum. Dark rum? Okay, what kind of drinks do I have now? Oh, wait. Your favorite is still here. I don't even have to think. That's perfect. Or do I want to ruin your mood? There you go, a perfect storm. Bitter, a little sweet, fresh. Damn it. I don't think I could mix something this good. Wish me luck, bartender. Keep an eye out for me in the papers. If you see any reports of a crashed vehicle, well, consider this place to have one less customer. Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. Alright, who's there? Oh god, the depressed guy. Haven't seen him in a long time. Feng Bai! Hey, hey! Feng Bai sits down at a bar. She looks uneasy. Everything alright, Miss Bai? Is it that obvious? Yes, perhaps you might be the solution to my problem. I'm looking to talk with you tonight, though a drink might also help at the moment. I can arrange that. Let's catch up beer. Wait. Do I have your favorite? No. What is your preference? Oh, I think I'd like something minty and fresh this time. It reminds me of my favorite tea. Minty and fresh. Mint punch. Let's go with that. There you go. Delicious. You're quite a skilled mixologist. I should bring you some teas. Perhaps your clientele might like it mixed in with some alcoholic. With something alcoholic. You mentioned problems. Oh, don't worry too much about that right now. I'm feeling more cheerful now that I'm settled. Maybe my problem isn't worth dwelling on. Not when it might spoil the evening. Ah, shit. Okay. How's business? Good, thank you for asking. Things have picked up since we lost Alina. The loss of such a bright light in our community darkened all our hearts. But time and tea helps us heal. She won't be forgotten. And though we miss her deeply now when we talk about her, it's with fondness for the young woman we were all lucky to know. It's still not as busy as before the unrest, but the regulars are floating back, and some of them even play on the chess set we leave set up in her honor. I decided against selling coffee. That is not the right fit for me or the terrace, but changing the decor is on the cards. I've painted the walls a lovely bright yellow. You painted it? Yes. It took me a while, but I got there. I am fitter than I look, and I have an ulterior move. I hope one of my old favorite customers comes back to see it soon. Maria loves yellow. I would be happy to have her back in the terrace. Have you talked with her? Yes, and I've talked with her number one. I talked with her number one fan. Number one fan? It's not Vincent. Wait. Ilya? Who's Clara? Wait, I don't know who she is. I don't know anything about Ilya. Okay. Clara? Yes, quite. Okay, sure. These two are good company for each other. Clara is very keen to make a good impression on Maria, and she's a very good girl. Maria needs a friend right now. And I worry about Björn too. I hope he comes to visit soon. I will make sure he feels welcome. Good. I don't trust the government in Zara or anywhere. I fear there's more on here than we know. I've had my brushes with espionage back in Huxia. I smell a cover-up. Any evidence? None at all, dear. It is a feeling. But I trust my gut and I trust the youth of Bukovi. Björn and Lucas are fine young men. I hope they find peace soon and receive restitution when Björn is proven innocent. Let's catch up. Let's talk about that journal I see you carry. This about silly business. I asked that once before, right? Excuse me? Do you not remember our last conversation? I remember. People think because I am an older woman, perhaps I won't keep up with conversation. They think perhaps I will miss details or lose my train of thought. But the tea terrace is not really about tea. Do you know what it is about? Connection? Connection or conversation? What? Isn't that both the same? Connection and conversation? Right? Or do I know something more? Wait, I remember that I asked about the journal. Yeah, that brings her joy, but what does this have to do with... Well, alright. Connection. Exactly! The tea terrace is about people sharing ideas, thoughts, dreams, Having deep and meaningful conversations of all time. Ha! Conversations, see? I told you. If conversation has a home, it is at a tea terrace. And to keep up with all those conversations, facilitate and enable them, I need to be sharp. Keeping up with all the gossip and getting caught in the tangle of these young people's lives keeps me engaged in content. And when I can, maybe I can even offer advice, or just a friendly ear to show that I care. And so, to facilitate conversation, I listen in. I find the right time to bring a new pot of tea, to ask a question, or even when to just laugh, nod, or sometimes cry. I see. Even now, perhaps you think I have lost the thread of the conversation and I'm rambling off topic. No, I will bring it back now. Really? My journal is how I remember all the events of the day and how I record them and make sense of them. And all the time writing, I found that much of the world and what I write down makes no sense. I call all of it silly business. It is all the little events, tasks and distractions which consume our lives. Who's making the bed today? Where's the key for the garden gate? Why is that woman's blouse a prettier shade of green than mine? Why do none of my socks match after I do the laundry? That is all silly business. And yet it is the silly business that consumes most of our day. Indeed, it seems like the silly business is our life. So what do we do? What I propose is that we do not fight it. We accept that silly business is our life, but we make sure that we have time for our deeper parts of our nature. What are the deeper parts of our nature? Well, dear, that's rather up to you, isn't it? What do you think are the deeper parts of our nature? What is more important than all of the silly business? What is most important to you? What is life about? Drinking, maybe food. Ambition, love. Well, love in the sense of love everything, not a specific person or something, but also like love can also be about friendship, right? Love can be about everything, family and stuff. So, but I don't think they think like I don't think the meaning is the right one here. Ambition now. Drinking and maybe food. Well, that's also about enjoying things, right? I go with drinking and maybe food. Yes, it is the simplest pleasures that often move us the most. As always, thank you for the lovely chat, dear. Conversation is my true passion. I'm not sure if that is true for you as well, but you are good at it. Sure. But I have nothing to talk to you about anymore. Because you're in a good mood. You have to be in a bad mood. Like him. A miserable priest sits down at a bar. Despite not having served him, you can smell a strong scent of alcohol from him. Excuse me, father, are you lost? In the eyes of the goddess, I am. But when it comes to my selfish, personal desires, the speakeasy serving alcohol is very much my intended destination. I see. I believe we haven't been acquainted yet. I am... Oh yeah, right. The first time we met him, we were the other bartender. Right. I was about like, what? We know each other. I am Father Lacey, but please just call me John. The title of father rather feels like an ill-fitting jacket on me. I mean, yeah. John, alright. Nice to meet you, John. Now that we have disposed of the pleasantries, let's move on to the real reason I'm here. Libations. Right. With everything going on, I require something strong to get me through the week. What sort of flavor do you like? Flavor? Who drinks alcohol full of flavor? Oh, so you want the strong one. I see, just strong then. Oh yeah, he was the one who liked the really strong one, but then I couldn't hold any conversation. So can you tell me what people confess? What? No, that would be a complete betrayal of trust, and it would go against the teachings of the goddess. It would undermine my faith and endanger my very soul. Such a thing is unthinkable. It was wrong of me to ask. By the goddess, if I were to ever start sharing confessions, I would never stop. Why? because the complaints of my flock are endless. You cannot comprehend the depth of these people's capacity for self-sabotage, complicity, jealousy, carnal perversions, and unrestrained vice. And they complain constantly. Do I not have a reason to complain too? Of course I do. Yet you don't hear me whining about my misfortune, bothering any willing listener with my moans. You're whining right now? Sure, that's true. Sure. I try my best to stay cheerful and light of heart, but these people... What's so bad about them? It is more than my job, it is my life's purpose, and I endure it. You would not believe the things my flock shares with me. Try me. Well, let's keep this purely hypothetical to maintain anonymity. Imagine a man struggling with feelings of depression and purposelessness, and he is a farmer. He gets to spend all his time alone in nature, and he has as many carrots as he can eat. How could anyone in that situation be unhappy? Anyone can have those feelings, John. Well, Mr. Gregory not only has the benefits of peace and quiet, so we are not anonym anymore, and the pleasure of unlimited root vegetables, but he also has a brand new barn, a glorious red building with the livestock. He churns fresh butter every morning. Maybe you should be a farmer then. If only, but no. My flock's not made up of cows and sheep, but people and their problems. And like it or not, they are my responsibility. Ooh, are you sure you're in the right job? I've said this many times, it is not a job, it is a calling. It's not supposed to be easy. If I enjoyed listening to people's problems, I would have an ulterior motive. As it stands, it's clear the only reason I tolerate this misery is my devotion to the goddess and her children. Maybe you just need a cheery outlook? I don't think the goddess wants you to suffer. There's no surer path to misery than to fight against your own nature. I know that. The goddess put me where I am for the higher purpose. I reserve the right to resent my role, but I still do it. These people need me, and whether I like it or not, and I do not, it is my duty to serve them. Very noble of you. It is what it is. Now, do you want to know about more confessions, or have you had enough? Tell me more. Well, how could I forget the lady who asked me for advice on the afterlife? What did she ask? She asked me if Paradiso was real. She wanted to know if her grandmother had descended to the holy stream of life and rejoined the goddess, or if she had been pulled into the endless starry void of oblivion to suffer under the Dark Lady Obscenum. Isn't that... I admit I don't know that much about theology. I know a little more than you, and even I don't know what I was supposed to say. Tell her the truth. The truth is hardly my role. I am to give her faith. Then you, her grandmother, frightful woman. She once kicked away an old man's cane when he tried to buy her the last tomato at the market. I hardly think she is with the goddess now. The eternal embrace of the mother is hardly the place for a fruit thief. Are you being serious? Of course not. I'm sure her grandmother is in a better place. Whoever that might be. And of course that is what I told her. I know this is my job. I know what I signed up for. But it's all just exhausting. I need support, encouragement, and to be put out of my misery. Please give me a reason to keep going. You need to toughen up, John. Maybe you can have approved topics for confessions. Maybe take a break from confession, just till you feel refreshed. It's supposed to be hard. The harder it is, the more you are helping. Maybe you can have approved topics for confession. That's not really in the spirit of confession, which must be open and free. I do wish we could do it in a more structured manner though. Like a questionnaire. I wouldn't even need to be there. I thank you for your efforts to boil my spirits, partner. A doomed effort, but one with which you engage in with genuine concern and thought. I simply must endure. I'm confident that even if most days I don't feel like I make the world better, I'm at least not making things worse, I hope. Okay, let's get you your drink. So you can only get up to 6, and you like the one with a 9. I know that. but I don't know which one. So let's go. Oh, the Royal Flush. Yeah, sure, but you won't get that from me. You only get a 5 at most. There's one. Maybe when we don't have anything more to talk about, I'll give you the Royal Flush. But for now, there you go. All these unorthodox flavors are wasted on me, I'm afraid. Still, I'll down it all the same. Any plans to take holiday this summer? Never again. My last holiday went horribly. What happened? First, my train was delayed. When it finally came, I was at the wrong platform. I had to run. And when I got on board, I was sweaty in my new suit and my trousers were stained from the dirty steam of the locomotive. When the ticket inspector came, I realized the ticket had slipped through a hole in my pocket. I had to pay a fee. And just after I gave the blasted man all of my spending money, I found the ticket in my other pocket. You idiot. So no more holidays for me. I realize now that the goddess needs me here. As does my congregation. To think there might be respite for me is to live with a fool's hope. If anyone needs a break, it's you, John. Yes, well, my father was no fan of torpidity. I think he passed his values on to me. I find it hard to relax at the best of times. Sitting on the beach at the seaside with a cocktail, well, I don't think it would suit me very well. Well, you don't have to go there, you can go to nature. Although, I do still enjoy the drinking part. Your father sounds very serious. Did your father use the word torpidity a lot? I don't even know what that means. A good deal more than most, yes. He was not a man known for his sense of humor. Nor am I. But I am a laugh a minute, compared to John Lacey Sr. His name was John too. Indeed. I took from him the name and the love and devotion to the goddess. Feng Bai, who I admire greatly, says I carry far fewer of the lessons of the goddess in my head, but more of her love in my heart. When she told me that, I do believe it is the kindest thing anyone ever said to me. It's true I fudge lines of scripture in my sermon almost every week, but I do feel the goddess within me and within the city. Sure, I feel her too. Yes, well, my congregation is a weight I carry, but I do not begrudge them. It's my choice to bear them upon my shoulders. Are all priests this world-weary? I suspect not. I've met a good deal of cheerful, light-hearted clerics. A few seemed as committed to the flock as I am. It must be a joy to carry the faith of your flock on stronger shoulders than mine. Do you have many friends here? In Bukovi, or in my congregation? The answer to both is no. I'm always here if you need to talk. I think some of the people here consider you a friend. He in a speakeasy? I am not so sure, but perhaps I can socialize with some of my church elders a little more, for their benefit as well as mine. I shall visit Feng Bai for tea, and perhaps invite Olivia if she's not too busy. You know, oh yeah, right. Of course you know Olivia. They both tolerate me, and drinking something other than alcohol might do me some good. Thank you, Bartender. You're welcome, John. You seemed a little down. How has your day been? Disastrous! It all started at breakfast. What happened? I was hungry and the pantry was bare, so I ventured out to buy my favorite breakfast treat, blueberries. Ooh, lecker. From Miss Timpson's market stall, whoever that is. Good plan. However, I've been suffering a somewhat serious malady this last month. I have a spectacularly painful toothache. I asked my barber to exercise it. Your barber? But he recently injured his hand while fishing, and as a result, he is not working right now. Don't you have to go to the dentist? Anyway, I treated my tooth the same way as always. A healthy dose of lidocaine from my local apothecary. It numbs the pain right away, but I fear I misjudged the dosage and numbed most of my face. I hadn't spoken to anyone that morning until I was standing in front of Mrs. Thompson with my basket full of blueberries. When I reached for my wallet, An impatient old woman behind me in the queue nudged me and I spilled my blueberries. A full punnet, all on the floor. Mrs. Timpson has a lovely stall with tiles in front of the till, so when I dropped the blueberries, they rolled like miniature footballs, scattering to every corner of the market. The stranger behind me cast judgmental glances, but when I tried to apologize, my palsied face interfered with my speech badly. What did you say? I believe my apology sounded somewhat like, I'm so sorry I rubbed my blueberries on the floor. Oh dear. Indeed. I can tell you the judgmental glances of my fellow customers changed quickly from frustration to sympathy. I believe the old lady nearby with the purple cardigan whispered something like, we must all help this poor lost fellow. I believe he has no carer to look after him. That sounds very embarrassing. Perhaps, though in truth, if they considered me to be of reduced mental faculties, the response is kind. Kinder than if I was simply a tired, hungry cloth with a poor dental care. What happened to your tooth? I received emergency treatment from a member of the congregation. Ooh. Though I am loath to admit they do care about me when I suffer misfortune. Agatha may have retired from dentistry 30 years prior, but she still yanked it out of my head with minimal fuss. Ooh, ouch. I'm glad you got help. Yes, well, the pain was passing and temporary, unlike the rest of the suffering in my life. In a way, severe bodily pain is transient, so I can bear. It's the pain of people I struggle with. But regardless of where the pain comes from, alcohol always helps. And having a caring congregation can get a silly old priest out of bother. Thanks for listening to my woes, bartender. Cheers. That's it. Nothing more? We have to wait for Hugo to tell us more about the case, I guess. So that ends the day. And I guess this also ends this episode. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.